going on, everybody? Welcome to the April edition of the King Court podcast. As you see, my boy is done and Ant is with me. Unfortunately, Miss Thursday herself, Court, she is under the weather, so she's not gonna be with us this show. We miss her, of course, but we still had to deliver y'all a show. We were supposed to do it on Thursday, but obligations came up, so we coming to you on a Sunday. But what's going on, guys?
Excited to be talking to you gentlemen on a Sunday. Unfortunately we had to move the show, but we're gonna put our best foot forward, even with Miss Courtney not here, being under the weather. So excited to have this conversation.
Yeah, I'm just gonna echo what y'all said. It's unfortunate that we don't have Miss Court here with us. She's dearly missed. Hopefully she's joined us in the chat. Gonna try to blow it up. But we're gonna deliver what we said, and we was looking forward to having it on Thursday, but like Nate said, other things came up. We had to push it back, but we wasn't gonna disappoint the public. So here we are on the Lord's Day. So let's get to it.
Yes, sir. So like old times, like our old shows when you had to do them on a Sunday for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, the topic as y'all see below is about the importance of support systems. This was a topic that we talked about within our group. It was one that we had to hit on because it's so many things that go on in this world where you actually need that true support in your corner, especially in the walks of life that you go through, whether it's a good or a bad thing. And I know for me for certain that having a support system kept me on the straight and narrow path in a lot of different situations. There was a lot of times I could have went off of the rail and didn't stay focused, but having that support system to not just make sure that you are doing well, but also make sure that you are staying on the right path that you can lean on. Like, okay, if you're along a journey career-wise, let's say you kind of hit a crossroad, you can go to someone to lean on and say, hey, I'm not progressing like I want to, or I am progressing like I want to. So it's a lot of key things that is vital about having a solid support system in your corner. And a lot of people like to say, I want to do this all by myself. I'm doing this by myself. I don't need nobody. That's the biggest lie you ever heard. You will need somebody along the journey to being successful, getting out of a storm. Anything that you go through in life, you're going to need it. I don't care if you don't have but one person in your corner. You're going to have somebody to lean on your journey, because life gets difficult. And I promise you, you do not have the manual for it. You don't have the manual to solve every issue, whether it's the man above or whether it's the man above, including people on this earth. You have to be able to have someone that you can fall back on sometimes. I mean, we're not perfect. I know a lot of us try to do it by ourselves, and also, then we throw this out here to you that love be on social media saying, well, I did it on my own. You did not do it on your own. Okay? You did not do it on your own. Sometimes you got to have that person or people in your corner to help keep you and help you elevate in a lot of ways. So, this topic mean a lot, honestly, to me. How y'all feeling about it?
I feel like it's a great topic to discuss. We're social by nature, and so I feel like as much as people try to be self-reliant, especially like when they're going through tough times, and I completely understand that mindset, just knowing that you have people that are invested in your well-being, it just goes such a long way, especially when you're dealing with a tough time, whether you're dealing with grief, depression, not where you want to be in life, or just any kind of like tough time that can kind of come about. Having those individuals there to support you and lift you up while you're experiencing a tough time, it can really make all the difference in you weathering that storm. And it's easy to take people for granted in your life sometimes. But when you're going through those tough times and you just have, it's not even you reaching out to them, but other people just proactively reaching out to you and just wanting to make sure you're okay. and just checking on you, it makes you feel good. It makes you feel valued, you know, in other people's lives, and you know that's an awesome feeling. Um, so yeah, it's a great topic to discuss, and really, it's something that it impacts all of us, you know, whether we want to admit it or not. So
Yeah, just to piggyback off of what y'all both said, I mean, which was very profound. I was very excited personally about this topic because I felt like this is something that some people don't want to discuss, about having a support system. And you know, we live in a day and age where now, ask for help seems like it's a sign of weakness and it's a sign of vulnerability. And you're not being on your business if you asking for support. And it's like, I mean, that's not true, because it takes a strong person to ask for help. It takes a very strong person to ask for help, because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, we all need help. And we all face those moments where our back is against the wall, we done exhausted all options, and it just seems like nothing is working. And at that point, we got to reach out for help. That's something that I've had to do in my own personal life. I had to reach those moments where I say, you know what, I can't do it by myself. You know what, this is becoming too much. I'm running to a brick wall here, so I need help. Whether it be, talking to God, or talking to my bros, or talking to other people that I trust. And that's another thing too. You always want to have your support system, always want to consist of people that you can trust and people that you can depend on, because nowadays that's hard to really discover, considering of the selfish and self-gaining mentality that we live in nowadays. It's very hard to find those people that you can have in your support system environment. So um and another reason why I felt like this topic was needed is because I just feel like people need to really know, okay, what is a support system? Because at the end of the day, you can have both a healthy support system and a unhealthy support system. There are some support systems out there that are not good for you. There are some support systems out there only consists of people that do more taking than giving. They don't want to reciprocate what you give them, and at that point you really have to assess, okay, is this person really for me, or they really for themselves? And that's one of the things that we're going to dive in on today: how to identify who needs to be in your support system, how to identify those people that you can trust and depend on, and also identify those people who are not for you. And really learn how to filter out your support system. So, um, very excited about this topic. Very excited about this topic, and I couldn't have done it with two other bros, man. So I'm excited.
Yes, sir. And to piggyback on what you just said about the identifying the support system, I'm glad that you actually used that particular term, because I looked up something before we did the show. Shout out to Ultimate Medical Academy. They stated, how do you identify the supportive people in your life? Consider these things right here. How do you feel when you talk to this person? Do you take their feelings and needs into account? Is the advice they give based on your well-being? Do they tell you tough truths when you need to hear them? Do they celebrate your triumphs with you? Do they encourage you to be better than you were yesterday? And last but not least, have they opened possibilities for you that you didn't realize existed? All of those questions that were brought up are so key that you have to pay attention to. One of the biggest things that stood out to me is the tough truths. You do not need 50 yes men in your corner. You need someone that's going to tell you, okay, you're slipping. You got to tighten up and do better on this. Because let's be honest, we all make mistakes in life, and there are times where you're going to be wrong, and you need to be told that you're wrong without feeling like, oh, they're against me. A person telling you that you're wrong in your support system is not always them bashing or hating on you. And please, for people that think that, that is not true. Do not think that it's only just based on if they tell me what I want to hear. You got to be told that you're wrong at times so you can know what to improve on. Because believe me, when you're going through the adversity, you start to go back to those moments of, man, I remember you told me, or it could be a woman, girl, remember when you told me that I needed to change how I operated on this particular topic, this particular relationship, this moment in my life, or something in general. If you are told that and you improved off of that, you'll go back to that moment and say, I thank you for that, because I didn't know that I was slipping. But you also got to be cautious with your support system. Yes, you don't want to always have yes men, but you also don't want to also have somebody that always tell you where you're messing up at. It got to have a balance. They got to be able to help you reach a solution if you are reaching an issue. Because if a person can only tell you when you're slacking off, that's also not a support system. They got to be able to tell you, okay, I love the fact you're making these steps in the right direction, but I also think that you need to change it in this direction too. And also view this too. Every step of criticism does not mean that you're bashing you. Sometimes pay attention to what's being said. Because sometimes if you are set in your way and say, I'm not going to change it because I feel that it's right, that doesn't allow you to grow. That's what your support system is supposed to do. It's supposed to help you grow. And as Don mentioned, one of the things that I completely agree on is sometimes that support system, being able to lean on that support system, it will help you take the leaps that you didn't even expect that you would take. And I want to throw this up here real quick. While I was on talking, a comment came in that the biggest con in the Black community is asking for help. And this is a very interesting thing that you stated, because as Don mentioned, some people only can fall on you when they want your help. They don't reciprocate it. That's another key thing in your support system. Make sure that if your support system is giving you the help, whether it's financially, spiritually, physically, mentally, make sure you're pouring that right back into them. Because if you're not, it is a waste of time. And it's only a one-sided situation in your support system. So I'm big on the support system. A lot of times, these guys right here, I speak to about a lot of personal things. And at the end of the day, I don't lean on someone that I don't feel has my best interest. If you don't feel that that individual has your best interest, whether they're telling you that you did the right thing or the wrong thing, then that's not a part of your support system. Know the difference. Know your support system. Know the people, and know everyone's role in your life also outside of your support system. There's some people, they're only meant for you to have around for quote unquote fun times. I'm sure you all are aware what I mean by that. Some people, they're only around for certain topics. Some can't get to that next level with you of knowing you on a personal level. So be very cautious with that. And I'm gonna pass it over.
And there's very very good what you explained right there about the different components of a support system and what it what it consists of. And while you was talking, I looked at the word system, and it is a noun. It means a set of things working together as parts of a mechanism or an interconnecting network. So what that tells me is that a system isn't just it just doesn't consist of one thing. It consists of people who are from different backgrounds. They may be different races, different genders, different perspectives, different way of looking at things. They might don't see the same. They might don't see things the same way, but it's still part of the system. It's still part of the system. It's just like a car. It's just like an engine of a car. You have the transmission, you have the radiator, you have the battery, you have all these things that consists of the engine. But at the end of the day, all parts, even though they're different, they still make sure that their engine is running like it should. And no part is bigger than the other one. That's one thing to understand. Even though they have different roles, they still make up the whole system, which is that car. And one thing at the end, and one thing we have to realize is that no person is bigger than the next person. No person is on a higher level than the other person. And that's what makes the system so interesting, because how come you have all these people that's from different backgrounds with different perspectives, but they still make up a whole system. They still make that system click. And so that's really what we're talking about right now. The importance of support systems is very important. It's very important. And like Nate said, yes, you know, you don't want a whole bunch of yes men around you, but you don't want a whole bunch of people around you that's only telling you what you're doing wrong. That's not balancing that. Because how are you supposed to correct things if you're not being told what you need to be corrected on? And how are you supposed to be encouraged about the things that you're doing right if you're not getting encouraged? So and even though yes, it is on the system itself to help boost us, we have a part to play in there as well, because we ourselves are support or a part of the system as well. So we can't just take advantage of the people in our support system and not be able to reciprocate what we've been given. So it's all in the system. The system has to consist of balance, and it has to consist of everybody just playing their roles. And I'm just gonna pass it to Ann after that.
Yeah, I mean, and Nate kind of touched on this earlier, but I just wanted to reiterate, like, the ability to, we all want people in our lives, we all want supportive people in our lives, but the ability to like figure out if people mean well or whether they don't mean well is absolutely critical too, and how effective that support system is, because people are nosy. Like, people are nosy. They
For
thrive
sure.
off of drama and all this stuff. So you have a lot of people out there who like to play the role of being supportive in your life, but really they just want to know all your business. Like, they want to know all the bad things that are happening in your life, and either go, like, laugh about you, go talk about you behind your back to other people. It just, so that part of it is absolutely critical, and just being able to discern whether people mean well or whether they don't mean well. And when someone shows you who they are, believe them. Like, when they show you that they don't have your best intentions at heart, like, recognize it, understand it, and then act appropriately. Because there's nothing wrong with forgiving people, but you also don't want to reach a point where you're just being, you're doing that to your own detriment. Because people will, if you allow someone to stay in your life and they don't have your best interest in mind, you're really doing yourself a disservice. And so that, just the ability to be able to see that and to act appropriately when you do see it is extremely important. Just making sure that the people who truly support you, or the people who say they support you, truly do. So please keep that in mind as well.
Hey, I like that you added that as far as this in terms of the support system, because one thing that came to my mind that you were just talking was you also got to make sure that your support system fits where you are at a stage of life too. You also don't want to find yourself in a support system where you are, and let me word this the best way possible for the ones that are watching. I think y'all know, y'all too understand where I'm going with this. You don't want to be the only successful individual in your support system. You want to make sure that your support system, everyone is thriving. They don't have to be on the same exact level as you per se, as far as what you're doing, but make sure that they're thriving in their own lane. You cannot have a successful support system if you are the one person that's doing something consistently positive and then 20 other people are doing something negative, because eventually that's going to drag you down. So you cannot have that type of support system. You got to make sure that where you are in your stage of life, that you always continue to carry it along, because there are some people that are meant to be a part of your system long term. There are some people you grew up with, like I'm just throwing out for an example. Myself and Dunn went to high school, and we've been bros for 15 years now. It came along the way of where we are in life. So that's what I mean by, I know it's a long time. But that's a lesson right there of where you are in life. It is nothing negative or personal against people that don't go along that journey of life with you. What I'm saying by that is, as you continue to mature, continue to grow. Because let's be honest, if you've known a person since you were a kid, where you were in 2007, you're not the same person in 2024. So you cannot be viewed as that person from 10, 15 years ago. They have to know the level that you're at in life now. And that goes for anybody that's a part of your support system. Because if you are supposed to be giving genuine support to that support system, whether it's that person or you have to take them where they are at this stage of life now. You cannot view it from back in 2009, this person was this way. You got to meet them where they are now. And that also has to be applied to your own personal life. You have to receive that type of support where you are in the stage of life now. If you are thriving towards working towards a new career, something along that line, if an individual that has stayed stagnant for the last 15 years is still stagnant, that is not a part of your support system. They're going to eventually drag you down, because guess what they're thinking in their mind? Okay, well, and I'm going to throw this out here. If you're making progression in your life and the person that has been around you from youth isn't making progression, they're telling you, oh, you forgot about me. That's not a part of your support system. Get rid of them now. Plain and simple. You need individuals that's going to continue to support the progression you made in life. Everybody is in a different journey in life. God blesses everyone different. But make sure, as long as you're seeing that your blessings come different along your support system, you make sure that you support where they are in the stage of life, because life's going to throw curveballs. You're going to hit a crossroad. You're going to go through a step where you might make 5 steps ahead and hit a wall. And that support system may need this, hey, what's going on? Let's get you out this storm. Let's get you out this adversity. And and the next step is 10 steps ahead. You cannot hit a wall of adversity because everyone goes through it in a sense of, and it's not even so much, it could be a career thing. It could be a personal thing that you may hit the wall on. But guess what? You need to know that someone is in your corner to say, what's going on? How can we push you through this? Because God brings people in your life for a reason. We're not taking away the spiritual aspect of this thing. What we are saying is God also aligns people in your life for a reason. It is up to us to determine who's the people that's going to get aligned in our life for this reason and who's a waste of time. No disrespect to anyone. That's just the truth when you're looking at your support system in life. But on that note, we'll pass over to Don.
Yeah, man, you preach to the choir on that one, man. You preaching to the choir. Very, yeah, you preach to the choir on that one. But yeah, man, I mean that's true. That's true. And one thing about it is you have to, like you say, you got to assess where you are in your life right now. And we all have to have those moments where we do all that, because as humans, we are going to change. Our perspective is going to change. We're going to have different ideologies. We're going to discover more things about ourselves than where we was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, even 15 years ago. Like Nate said, you know, me and him been knowing each other since high school, and you know, we've had different, you know, changes in perspective. We view things differently than we did in high school, and at that moment, you know, the support systems that we had in high school, we don't have anymore, or very few of them at least. I mean, because at that point, we just had to assess where we not only where we are at this moment, but where we're going, and that's the thing. And it always goes back to self-love. It's like you have to love yourself to the point to where you're not going to accept anything less than what you want out of your support system. Not to say that, you know, you have to think selfishly or you don't have to give back to your support system, because like I said earlier, it's the balance, and it goes hand in hand. At the same time, you know, you have to have those moments where you sit back and assess yourself and say, okay, the support system that I have now, is it pushing me to where I want to be, or is it holding me back to where I want to be? And at that moment, you have to make sure that your support system is lining up to where you want to be. I say this all the time because I've heard this a lot growing up. The moment that you become the smartest person in the room lets you know that you need to change rooms. because you always want to be in a place to where people are smarter than you, and not saying that you're inferior to them, but at that moment you're trying to learn something new. You're trying to elevate yourself to a new intellectual level, and and new careers as well. So um your support system isn't going to be the same as it was 5 years ago. What's up, Matt? What's up? It's not going to be the same as it was 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I mean, it's always going to be changing. And at the end of the day, you got to have those serious conversations with those people and say, you know what, I love you. I appreciate you for everything that you've done for me. And in this season, but I see myself in this season, I got to go in a different direction. And if they truly love you, they truly value your growth, then they will understand that. Not saying that y'all still can't hang out and do yada yada and whatever you do. But at the same time, when it comes to, as they say, stand on business, then you have to do some changes in your support system, because every support system is not going to stay the same unless you're comfortable with staying comfortable. And people who want to grow, they don't want to stay comfortable, because it's got to be some growth going on. But I don't know where I was going with that, but I just feel like it ties in. But I don't know why I got led in that direction. But getting back to support systems, like I said, you don't always want to surround yourself. You don't want to surround yourself with yes man. With people that always want to tell you, want to tell you what you want to hear. And that's one thing I had to learn in my years of adulthood. It's like, okay, in order for me to grow, I'm gonna have to be able to take some stuff that I don't want to hear. I have to be able to take the truth. I have to be able to look at myself and say, you know what, I don't like what I'm seeing right now. What I see is ugly, and my support system has to make sure that they point that out to me. Don't be afraid to tell me the truth. If I'm messing up, tell me I'm messing up. Nate will tell you every time I mess up or about to make a bad decision, you like, hey bro, like I see you about to do this, like don't go that way, don't go that way. And because I know his heart posture, and I know the fact that he loves me, and he wants to see me succeed, and he wants me to be a better man and a better person, I'm gonna take his word to heart. I mean, that's what having a support system that I trust does. When you have a support system that you can trust, it's easier for you to accept the truth. When the moment that you can't accept the truth, that's when you have to assess yourself and say, is this support system good for me, or is it me? Because sometimes it's not a support system, sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's you that need to accept the truth from your support system. So I'm just gonna toss it to Ant at that moment, and we just gonna keep going forward. It's a great conversation.
Yeah, for sure. I just wanted to highlight, I was kind of taking a look, prior to us getting on and talking about the topic of support systems. And it's not even, obviously mental health plays a really big role in having a support system, a strong one that is really, making sure that they're looking out for your best interest, in addition to helping you move in the right direction. But also their physical issues as well that factor into this too. So I found the article, and it said that poor social support has been linked to depression and loneliness. It has been shown to alter brain function and increase the risk of the following, which is alcohol use, cardiovascular disease, depression, and also even suicide. So it's not just the mental health aspect, making sure that you have a solid support system in place. It can really be the difference in life or death in certain scenarios. And so, just really want to take just another moment to stress the importance of that. And if you are struggling with mental health, like that's anxiety, depression, or even having, suicidal thoughts, please make sure that you reach out to the resources that are available out there. We need you here. We want you here. And the world is better with you in it. So, please, if you're thinking about giving up, or if it's turning into this ain't, you know, we want you here for sure. I just want to reiterate that.
Hey, I love that you hit that, because at the end of the day, that is so key to the support system factor as well. Because I mean, I can be honest and open. Me and Don lost a mutual classmate to suicide because they checked out, and they did have support, but unfortunately, it was just came too late for them when they started speaking about it. So, you know, that's so key along your journey. That's another big reason why we are big on the support system, because when you hear people say, if I didn't have, I don't know what I would have did without you. Sometimes they actually telling the truth. Not saying that people are lying about that. So when you hear a person say, I don't know what I would do without your support, or I don't know what I would do without your positive words, sometimes that person might have woke up that morning and decided they didn't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Or they got tired of what life is throwing at them, and they heard your words and said, man, I got through this day because of you. And I can even go personal and say, Don is aware that sometimes I do inspirational messages throughout the weekdays in the morning, early in the morning.
I enjoy.
I appreciate that. And I've had a couple of people come to me and be like, man, I was struggling mentally. You didn't even have a clue. But I got those messages, and I may not have responded today or maybe 2 weeks from now, but I listened to every single one of them, and it got me through. And sometimes you don't know what your words could do for an individual. So always make sure that when you have a support system, make sure not only that they value you, make sure that you put value into them, because you just never know what a person might have woke up and went through that day, and you just checking in on them just to say, hey, how's life going? Is everything all right? Do you need anything? Is there anything I can pray for you on? You just never know what saying those particular things will do for you. And another thing I love that you mentioned, Don, was about sometimes you could be the issue in your support system. Sometimes it may not be your support system. Make sure that you humble yourself to realize that sometimes you're making particular mistakes. And if you're hearing one, if and a lot of people try to go with this method here that maybe one person may not know what they're talking about, but if you hear a second or a third person saying it, that is the truth. But the God of the truth is that's true. If you have a support system of 5 people and 4 of them told you the same thing, that maybe you're slipping up on this, maybe you're slipping up on that. So make sure that when you are receiving that words of encouragement, words of improvement, words of advice, that you are really paying attention to what's being said, because ultimately it could be the thing that could change you for the best, or they could be telling you something about yourself that maybe I should improve on. And I've had this conversation with other individuals where they had to, where in the moment, and sometimes you have people that are around you that in the moment, and and thankfully I can say that Don and Ant are not that way, but there are people that you may encounter that are hotheads in the moment when you're trying to advise them to do better. And they are, you don't know what you're talking about. They want to continue to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But then about 6-7 hours later, man, you were right. We know that. You should have listened the first time, but you have some people that they are processing certain things in their support system in a particular way. So also another key thing in your support system, know each individual in your support system. Know the way that they react to certain things. Know if they will comprehend, and not saying it comprehend as far as intelligence. Know if they will grasp the positive advice that you're giving to them quick. Know if it'll take a long time, because there are some people that mean genuinely well in your support system, but it take them about a day or two to process, because in the moment their mind is made up until they really think about what you're saying. And it's okay. I understand. So also make sure that you understand each person in your support system very well, and also know how to approach them, because that's another key thing in your support system. Make sure that you are able to encourage them in a format that fits them. Because some people you can be super direct with and say, hey, you're slipping A, B, C, D, E, F, and G, and they get it. But you have some people that you have to gradually work with them on it. And it's nothing negative about them. It's just the way that everyone comprehends when you're communicating with them.
Yeah. And that's so true. I'm just gonna piggyback off the both of y'all. You know, as a person who grew up as an only child, you know, I didn't grow up knowing what a support system was. I didn't grow up knowing what communication was. You know, I grew up in a household where we rarely sat at the table as a family. You know, we didn't know anything about family dinners. You know, dinner was made. I took my plate. I went in the room, watched TV. I was on my own. I was isolated. And I didn't really know the importance of a support system until I grew up. And I learned that I need to talk to somebody. You know, and like I said, it's the only child, you know, the only person I really talked to was God. You know, he was my support system. And I had to grow, I had to know that, okay, he surrounded me with people that I can talk to as well, you know. So it's very important as you know, as you have we have a support system around us that we can't isolate ourselves. Is you know, talk to somebody. It's always somebody out there that you can talk to that, no, unbeknownst to you, you may be going through the same thing that they may be going through, or they may have gone through the same thing that you're going through right now, and they already know what it takes to get out this particular situation, but you don't know that until you open up and talk to somebody. So, like Ant said, you know, don't wait until it's too late to talk to somebody. Talk to somebody while you still have a chance, because you do matter. And don't let nobody or anyone tell you that you don't. You do matter. You're still here because you matter. You still have a purpose because you matter. Like, God didn't create any one of us for no reason. He created each and every one of us for a purpose. But it's up to us to know what that purpose is. And you know, that consists of having a support system, because you never know, that support system could help propel you to what he has in store for you. And at the end of the day, just reach out, just talk, you know. Like Nate said, he sent me those messages almost every day. And unbeknownst to him, there's been some days where I've questioned myself to be like, God, am I worth, you know, being a husband? Am I worth being a father? Am I worth being a man? Am I worth having all this? And it just took that one message of him sending that to me to be like, you know what, I can make it. You know what, I can do this. You know what, I am worth it. So you never know what type of impact you have on somebody until they come back to you and say, you know what, I wouldn't have did this without you. I couldn't have been where I am without you, man, without your help. And we just don't realize sometimes how much of a blessing we are to people. What's up, KD? Appreciate you as well, man. But yeah, man, support system is vital. It's vital to our success. It's vital to our lives. It's vital to our adulthood. And I'm so happy. I am so happy. Well, I'm not happy, you know, that court's now on here. I'm so devastated. The silver lining is that all of us are black men on this platform right here. And I'm gonna lean it this way. As black men, it is so important that we have a support system.
Yeah.
It is so important that we know that we don't have to do it by ourselves. I know we all grew up thinking that we have to, it's been driven in us, instilled in us, and basically dubbed in us that we have to do it by ourselves. We can't ask for help. We got to be independent. You know, you're not a man if you don't do it by yourself. You're not a man, you ask for help. We come to bust that up right now. That's a lie. That's a fallacy. That's fiction. There's no way you can live this life by yourself. We was not equipped to do this life by ourselves. If it was capable, we wouldn't even ask for help. But what happens? We ask for help. Why? Because somewhere down the line, we run in the situation, we run to a circumstance that we simply don't know what to do. And that's okay. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to be dependent at times. I'm not saying that you should always get you should always get carried to the finish line, because there has to be a point to where you realize that the finish line is right there, and you have the capability of walking to the finish line, and you have the capability of running to the finish line. But you do reach a point to where you don't know where to go, and you got to ask for help. So why not ask for help? You got the support system right there, but you're not utilizing it, and that's the wrong mentality to have. It's like you're thirsty and somebody's trying to give you water, but you don't want to take the water because you just proud to ask for help. Pride will forever hold everybody back. If you don't get rid of that pride, if you don't ever get rid of that mentality of not asking for help, you will forever stunt your own growth to your success. Not knowing that your support system is a major key to your success. But we as men have to stop acting as if we cannot ask for help. That's a lie. You got to ask for help. You got to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Reach out. Talk to somebody. If you need help, reach out. Don't ever feel like you're going to take time out of somebody's day, or you're wasting, or you're bothering somebody, or you just pestering somebody. Because I promise you, there are some people out there that really wants to see you succeed. There are people out there that are selfless. I can truly say that I'm a selfless person. You can reach out to me about anything. I don't care what it is. It could be about relationships, sports, whatever. Whatever you're dealing with, you can reach out to me. Nate's the same way. Ant's the same way. Because we want to see people succeed, because at one point we was there. And we're still there. Whether we want to realize, make it known or not, we're still there in our lives. We don't have it all together. We all reach out to certain people for help, and we're not proud to ask for help, because you know why? Because that's life. You're gonna have to ask for help, man. So yeah, man, like all this, oh, you gotta do it by yourself. Nah, man. Ask for help.
Yeah, we as men have to be a lot more comfortable with the idea of like letting our guard down, like and not feed into this whole idea of like this self sufficiency, being macho, not letting people in. To go back to something Don said, I'm an only child as well, so like there are definitely times where um and it's just out of stubbornness, and I guess just in general, it's like when you're dealing with a tough time, just kind of shutting everybody out and just kind of operating solo and just kind of like, okay, well, I'm just gonna deal with it until the storm passes. And that's certainly a way you can approach it, but that's not the best way to approach it. And so, just men, and especially Black men, we have to be more comfortable with the idea of just being vulnerable, even when we're operating like in conversation with each other, and understanding like it's okay to not be okay. Like, if you need to chat with somebody about a tough time that you're having, or whatever the situation may be, if you're really my brother, there's nothing that I'm going through that I should feel embarrassed to have a conversation with you about. If you truly love me and care about me as a person, everything should be on the table. And so, if you're hesitant to talk about certain things with people that you actually consider to be your loved ones, family, friends, just anybody that you care about, there's an issue there. Like they really don't. You're really not as close as you think you are in your head if you can't, sit down at the end of the day and have a conversation with them about something that's going on in your life and that's bothering you. So, if that's where you are with certain relationships, for yourself, you need to kind of take a long, hard look, kind of take a step back, take a long, hard look, and really evaluate what you're dealing with. and then make the adjustments that you need to. Because again, like I said, if these people truly care about you, everything should be on the table. Nothing should be off. You shouldn't be embarrassed to talk about anything, and they should have the maturity and the wherewithal to put everything else to the side and just focus on what's best for you. So people gotta be adults, man, and it's like sometimes being an adult it's not always easy. It's not always fun. Like, and you just gotta get into it. And some people have a hard time having those tough conversations, and that's sad, unfortunately.
Yo, adult being adult being adult at times. I ain't even gonna lie.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Nah, I love what both of you said. And I mean, I can even share to a sentiment of where both of them came from, because although I'm not an only child, me and both my parents were in separate households. So I was the only child in that household until like years down the road. My mom had my younger brother. He's 16 now. But I had sisters, and I personally, and this goes back to the men topic that we are on. I had always wanted a brother, but I had, and it's funny, y'all. I had told my mom when I was a kid, I'm like, Mom, I need a brother for Christmas. And this is before you realize the whole process of having a child, all this stuff. But I can say I thankfully received other support from playing sports, being around friends, being around my cousins, all those different things. I had my rest of soul, my granddad, my uncles. I had, different ways of receiving that support. But I mean, it was wanting that person, wanting people around you that kind of walk that same life with you at the time. And that was something that really happened once I got into high school, got into college, all those different things. That's when I started to really see that support system and also that's where I'm going with this is you won't realize the type of support system that you want. Sometimes when me growing up, I had always wanted to have like male figures around me that was like brothers to me. But then as you get older, some people aren't meant to be in that role. And going back to what Donna said, like we say, it's nothing wrong with needing help. The biggest thing is pride is the devil among us as men, because one thing that a lot of us will do, we'll go without. And you like, man, why you didn't say anything? I could have been here for you. Why you didn't say nothing? But sometimes it's been drilled in us. Hey, you need to you a man. You figure it out. Yeah, in a lot of cases, you can figure it out, but you do need some support of some capacity. But also in that same statement, make sure that you are working towards figuring it out while asking for help. Don't be the individual that anytime you need help, instead of explore all options first. That's what I will say. Make sure that it's not just every time I need help, instead of me figuring out the best solution. Okay, can I get this? Can I have that? Can I do this? Can I do that? Make sure that that they can see that you're progressively working towards that, because there are some people who don't have an issue with asking for help, but they never bring the same value back in that support system. As Ant mentioned, make sure that the support system also brings value to you and you bring value to them. If you know that there's individuals who you can't lean on in your heart, in your times of need, or even your times of support and advice, they're not supposed to be part of your support system. They got to go. And it's nothing disrespectful. They got to go, because ultimately a support system helps each other along the journey. Everybody don't need the same type of help, but be able to be supportive in the space that they may need your help in. So that is so key. And as Don mentioned, as far as us from men to men, not even just from black man to black man, but in men in general, make sure that you are taking the necessary steps. Because let me go ahead and I'm gonna keep it 100 for everyone that's tuned in. I'm in my 30s. Dunn and Anderson are in their 30s. We are no longer in the stage where we are still growing, but we also are part of building that next generation. So a lot of things that us 90s babies, us 80s babies grew up seeing or grew up and developed into, that next generation behind us is watching. They're going to need that support. You never know who's going to come along your journey, and you become that big brother, that big sister, that uncle, that auntie, that support system to them. So make sure that you be cautious in your own progression, because sometimes there are people that are, right, as Don mentioned, that are rooting you on behind the scenes. There are some people that are watching what you're doing and you don't even know it. They may not tell you until years down the road. I used to always study what you was doing. I used to love seeing you in this position, in this job, in this place, in that place. Some people are watching the positive things that you're doing, and some are watching the negative things that you're doing. There are some people that are influenced by, and we're gonna be honest on this thing. Oh, I love the fact that you are a ladies' man, or you got all these boyfriends, auntie or sis or whoever. You got some who may thrive off of the negative things that you have done or may not be proud of. So be cautious with the things that you are displaying for the world and the things that you are growing from, because believe me, everything is being watched. Everything is being watched. So it is key as a part of your support system that you continue to thrive, and make sure that you understand that if an individual gets to a certain point where God is blessing them consistently and often and often and often, make sure that you realize God has you around those individuals so you can see this is where I'm powerfully blessing them. So, for example, when the opportunity, not order to say if, when Ant gets that big blessing, when Don gets that big blessing, what am I going to be doing? I'm going to be applauding them. That's what you're supposed to do in life. When God put people in your support system, you have to pay attention to the way that they are being valued within your support system. Make sure you're taking notes, because there are some people there are some things that individually you may look up to as far as a person in your support system. You may love the fact how they consistently stay positive. You may love their hard work effort. You may love the fact that they do this, and it may inspire you. Don't always look at it as okay, I got to reach a certain level. Another thing with your support system, this is not a competition. Your support system is helping you develop to be the greatest man or greatest woman out here in this world. It is not a competition. If anything, you are all as powerful as one big unit. We are all sports fans. You are that championship team that you out here that you love watching, that's holding that trophy at the end of the day. That's what you're coming together to be. You're not out here to run a race against each other. So make sure you keep that in mind. Your support system is supposed to help elevate you, and you help elevate them. This is not a race. I'm gonna pass it on.
And
Oh, I didn't know if you were going there. Yeah, I guess the last thing I'll kind of get into is just some tips that I found online for people to go about, trying to build a support system if they already don't have one in place. But one option, reach out to family and friends. Simply, saying hello or offering to help with the task can spark conversation. We live in a digital world, so use that technology. Connect with people, email, text message, video calls. There are a multitude of ways that are available to us, to try to connect with others. Connect with people who share your interests, join a club, volunteer at a local organization, or take a class to help meet people who share your likes or interests. If you're facing a personal challenge, consider joining a peer support group to help take care of your mental health and connect with people who are facing something similar. And then lastly, just asking for help. So, reach out to your local library, places of worship, or, there's a community center in your local area to learn more about local events you may want to attend or groups you may want to join. So just knowing, that there are different ways. If you are struggling with feeling lonely or not feeling supported or just not having a support system in place, these are different ways you can go about, trying to build that for yourself. So just wanted to make sure we added that in.
Appreciate that, bro. I appreciate these bros, man. They really said some powerful stuff on today. But yeah, last thing I would add is that just know that you're worth the help. Don't ever find yourself in a place to where you feel like you don't deserve help, you're not worthy of help. You can't ask for help. Help is there. I mean, Ant just gave you a whole bunch of resources and websites and people to reach out for help. I mean, at the end of the day, like I said earlier, you can lead a camel to water, but you can't make them drink it. It's up to that camel to drink that water. It's up to us to, we can lead you to the help. We can lead you to resources. We can lead you to the people. We can lead you to the answers. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to take the help. It's up to you to take what's given. It's up to you to assess your support system. It's easier said than done, but it is achievable. Don't ever feel like it's too hard or it's too difficult or it's not worth the wait. It's not worth the time. It's not worth the energy, because having a healthy support system is vital to your growth. It's vital to all of our growth. I mean, that I've gone through a period in this season where I've had to cut certain people off my support system because I found out that, in the beginning, I thought they was my support, but as I began to, progress and just discern different things, I've come to find out that they just wanted to boost their own thing. They want to only, boost what they got going on and just have me figure things out for myself. And at the end of the day, that's not a healthy support system. A healthy support system lifts everybody up. A healthy support system is not a crab in a basket mentality. I don't know if anybody has had a chance to look at how crabs operate in a bucket. When one crowd looks like it's about to come out that bucket and the other crowd see they about to climb out, get that one claw, push it back down. And that's how society is. I mean, it's unfortunate, but I mean, it is what it is. That's how society is. Society is just a big old crab bucket. But at the end of the day, you have to realize that there are some people, in the world that really wants to genuinely see you grow, that genuinely wants to see you do better. And I can truly say from experience, these two bros on here, they really want to see me grow, and I really want to see them grow as well. We don't operate no crab in a basket bucket mentality, not over here, because we are as good as each other are, and vice versa. We push each other, we motivate each other, we check on each other, we make sure that each of us are good. There's no time that we cannot reach each other. If Nate needs help, if Ant needs help, they already know I'm here for them. If I need help, I know I can reach out to them and ask for help. We're not proud. We're not proud. Like Nate said, pride, I don't know who said it, either Ant or Nate. Pride is the devil. Pride is the shout out J. Cole. But pride is the devil, It really is. Pride can stunt your growth. It can cause you not to have healthy relationships with people. It could cause you not to reach that level of success that you want to reach, all simply because you don't want to ask for help. Simply because you don't want to cultivate that healthy support system. And like I said before, and I'm gonna reiterate, the importance of a support system is very vital to growth. It is. Don't discount the fact that you need a support system. You cannot live life by yourself. Trust me, I've tried to do it. It don't work. Because at the end of the day, whether you're gonna, I mean, you got two choices, whether you're gonna humble yourself or life gonna do it for you. And when life humbles you, it's not a good thing. You're gonna find yourself on a tougher road than what you had to be on if you would just humble yourself. So I don't think I can encourage everybody to do is just try your best to build a support system. Find those people who want the best for you. Find those people who you can pour into, because it's not just good for them to pour into you, but you also want people that you can pour into. You also want people around you that you can tell the truth to. You also want people around you that you can uplift and not just be uplifted, because that's how the system works. It's balanced, it's consistent, it's wholesome. Everybody succeeds, not just one person. Everybody. Everybody gets to eat at the table. I'm not at the table eating TV dinners and everybody's got porterhouse steaks. No, everybody getting steaks. Everybody's belly gonna get full. That's what a support system is, a healthy support system. And you have to identify what's a healthy support system and what's an unhealthy support system. Because if you find yourself in an unhealthy support system, it's a very toxic situation.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to end up being in a worse place than in life that you don't want to find yourself in. So don't ever find yourself in an unhealthy support system. And if you are, just get out. Just leave. There's better people out there than that. So that's all I had to add. This has been a very great topic. Very great topic. This is a topic that need to be talked about, because not everybody want to have this conversation. Not everybody want to have conversations like this about having a support system. You know, everybody, you know, some people just want to talk about, you know, and I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with talking about leisure stuff, but at the same time, it's good to talk about things that's wholesome and that's of substance and something that's gonna help uplift you and get you to the next level in your life. So I hope, you know, this episode helped somebody out there that had trouble identifying what type of support system they had. And, you know, just know that, you know, there are people out there that really wants to see you succeed. So yeah.
Hey, you ended it perfect there. I don't have anything else to say. What about you, Ed?
No, I'm good, man. Appreciate everybody who tuned in and left comments or subscribed. You know, we're nothing without y'all. So, you know, definitely appreciate you tuning in for the most recent episode, and you know, we look forward to doing this with y'all again next month.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree, and I appreciate y'all for tuning in. It was a great show. We, of course, we missed our queen in the building, Court. She will be
Thursday.
Back. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to have her for this show. She will definitely be here for the next show. I'm trying to see what's the date so I can tell the audience. I want to say it was May 18th, if I'm not mistaken. Oh no, I'm sorry. The next episode is May the 23rd. So everyone that's tuning in, make sure that you like, share, subscribe, comment, share our videos. Make sure you're sharing our videos, because
please,
we're bringing a lot of great content out to you. We really appreciate everyone that's tuned in and go back and watch it after the live show. But make sure that you are definitely sharing it and go back and reflect on these videos. Those things are key, because we're putting out content that is valuable lessons, not just for the moment, but down the road. Go back if you need to ever fall back on one of our videos and say, hey, I just needed that encouragement again. You got a good hour of encouragement from all three of us. So but again, the next show is May the 23rd. It's gonna be called The Art of Letting Go. That's gonna be a good topic right there.
Oh no, sure, yeah. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, me too. It's gonna be a good one. Another wholesome episode. So hope y'all save room.
Yes, sir. I hope y'all are ready. But until the next time, this has been an episode of the King's Court Podcast. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your week. And hey, good luck the rest of the week, man.
Peace.
Bless y'all. Peace.